everybody, this is Doc, and I am going through the journey, the incredible, amazing journey of getting my Japanese driver's license, and it is a bitch. So I just realized there is a lack of audio on this topic, so I thought, well, okay, if you're going to study it, the easiest and best way would be to utilize audio learning. So I decided to record the training manual and bring it to you, motherfuckers. So I'll bring it to you guys. Here it is, and enjoy. So my intention for this audio is to basically what I think you should do with this audio is you should find a YouTube conversion website like youtube-mp3.org, I think it is. It basically converts the YouTube link into an MP3 file, and then you can just take that file and then put it in iTunes and then add it onto your iPhone. So just do that with this video, and then you can just walk around town while you're listening to my voice of the Japanese training manual. So, and then you can just do audio learning about this Japanese driver's rules and laws and rules of the road while you're just walking around. So I hope you enjoy, and please rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
This is Doc reading for you the Japanese rules of the road. I'm going to read every word written. How many pages does this thing have? Apparently there is 26 pages. That includes the road signs. Okay. This is called MCB Butler Handbook 5100, Japanese Traffic Regulations for SOFA Licensed Drivers. Compliments of the MIC PAC Installation Safety Office, October 2014. Table of Contents, Contact Phone Numbers, page 3. Introduction, page 4. Japanese Traffic Regulations Overview, page 5 to 11. Chapter 1, Driving Privileges, page 12 to 13. Chapter 2, Accident Reporting, page 14 to 15. Chapter 3, Rules of the Road, page 16 to 20. Appendix A, Japanese Traffic Signs and Road Markings, page 21 to 26. There's a picture of a Japanese road. Contact phone numbers. There's a picture of the Installation Safety Office here. 1. POV Licensing Office. Wait, I'm going to record my desktop. Contact phone numbers. 1. POV Licensing Office 645-7219/6071. 2. Governor License Office 645-3183/2862. 3. Operations Supervisor 645-2039. POV Licensing Office Fax 645-7838. Introduction. 1. Purpose. This handbook covers common elements Japanese traffic regulations laws where applicable for Status of Forces Agreement SOFA. Sponsored personnel, i.e. U.S. Armed Forces, government, civilian employees, family members, and contractors. 2. General. A. The operation of privately owned vehicles, POV, within Japan is considered a privilege agreed between U.S. Forces, Japan, and Japanese provincial government. Like all high-level agreements of this nature, adherence to local laws and regulations are critical to ensure the agreement remains in good standing. Driving privileges can be revoked through formal traffic court adjunction, adjudication, or simply through command administrative action based on the desires and needs of the commander. B. The operation of a motor vehicle within Japan carries similar responsibilities and consequences as operating a motor vehicle in the U.S., with few expectations. A significant difference under Japanese law involves categorizing anyone with a motor vehicle operator's license as a professional driver. While driving in the U.S. is more or less taken for granted these days for anyone 16 years of age or older, Japanese citizens must devote considerable time and money toward obtaining their license through a government-approved professional driving school. As such, traffic accidents that result in a personal injury or death frequently lead to criminal prosecution under Article 211 of the Japanese Penal Code, injury or death through occupational or professional negligence. C. Penalties can be costly and severe, as at-fault drivers will typically be subject to the Japanese traffic law. SOFA licensed drivers are subject to steeper fines and more severe penalties for non-injury related traffic offenses such as DUI, DWI, speeding, and illegal parking. 3. Traffic signs. Traffic signs used throughout Japan are considered international standard road signs. Vehicle operators licensed anywhere outside the United States should find the road signs depicted in Appendix C easily recognizable. 4. Disclaimer. This handbook includes traffic safety regulations requirements while operating a motor vehicle on Marine Corps installations on Okinawa specifically. Personnel licensed by and or operating motor vehicles aboard Kadena Air Base, Air Force, and Tori Station are subject to the provisions written in Kadena Air Force Instruction 31-204 Kadena Air Base Motor Vehicle Traffic Supervision and United States Army Regulation Japan Supplement 1 AR 190-5 for Tori Station. B. This handbook is generic in nature and does not cover every possible scenario an SOFA licensed driver may find themselves faced with when operating a motor vehicle on or off base. Drivers are reminded to remain vigilant, obey all traffic laws, and drive defensively at all times to ensure safely navigating a motorized vehicle during your overseas tour. Japanese Traffic Regulations Overview. 1. Traffic lanes. A primary traffic rule throughout Japan dictates all vehicles, motorized or pedaled, remain to the far left side of the roadway where road conditions permit. Vehicles may partially cross or fully cross over multiple lanes to reach the far right side of the roadway under the following circumstances. 1. When traveling on multiple lane roadways. 2. Whenever the width of the left half of the road is insufficient for a vehicle to proceed. 3. Whenever a vehicle is unable to proceed on the left side of the road due to road damage, road construction, or work, or other impediments. 4. Whenever attempting to pass another vehicle. 5. When merging across multi-lane roadways in order to make a right-hand turn. B. Vehicles may pass other vehicles under the conditions prescribed above when the center of the road is marked by a solid or broken white line. The following road markings prohibit passing. Figure 1 shows 3 lines. It says passing lane markings, arrow in the middle, arrow on the left, and arrow on the right. All the lines in between have dotted spaced white lines. B. Vehicles may pass other vehicles under the conditions prescribed above when the center of the road is marked by a solid or broken white line. The following road markings prohibit passing. 1. Solid yellow center line equal no passing from either lane. 2. Double solid yellow center line equals no passing from either lane. 3. Solid yellow line next to a broken yellow center line equals no passing from the lane nearest the solid yellow line. Caution: when operating a vehicle at night during inclement weather, road markings and lane separations tend to fade due to the type of paint used on Japanese roadways. C. Whenever a sidewalk is separated from the roadway, vehicles must travel on the roadway. However, a vehicle may cross a sidewalk when this is the only way to enter or exit a business, private residence, or similar location. Pedestrians on sidewalks and crosswalks have the right of way at all times. Vehicles must not be driven into safety zones. E. Lanes designated for specific types of vehicles, bus lanes for example, are required to travel in the specific lanes designated for that type of vehicle. There's a picture of a bus with Japanese writing, and it says Figure 2, bus preferred lane. Okay, whatever. Japanese traffic regulations overview continued. F. Bus exclusive or preferred lanes are designated priority for public buses, school buses, and taxi cabs. All other vehicles, with the exception of motorcycles, are required to move out of the lane immediately when a bus or taxi approaches from the rear. G. Bus exclusive lanes are for buses, taxicabs with passengers, and motorcycles exclusively during certain hours of the day. These times will be clearly marked on roadways. The only time POVs are allowed in the bus exclusive lane is to make a left turn. In this instance, you can move into the bus exclusive lane 100 feet, 30 meters prior 100 feet, 30 meters prior to your turn, provided you do not interfere with a bus or taxicab's right of way. Figure 3 shows bus exclusive lane, two solid lines on the outer edges of the bus with an arrow going down. H. When a public bus is signaling to leave a bus stop, no vehicle shall impede or interfere with the bus unless doing so means abruptly changing speed or traffic lanes, which could cause an accident in an adjacent traffic lane. Note, between the hours of 0730 and 0900 and 1730 and 1900 hours on Highway 58, the far left lane is strictly used for buses, motorcycles, and designated vehicles only. I. The following requirements must be adhered to when meeting a bus. School bus, the green line on any installation. 1. When the bus stops, do not proceed. All vehicles in both directions must immediately stop until the bus moves or the bus driver signals vehicles to proceed. Figure 4, DODEA school bus shows a yellow bus and it says school bus caution. 2. Pay close attention to pedestrians, children disembarking from a bus to ensure they do not attempt to cross the street once the bus leaves. A. Motorcycles are restricted to the far left side of the roadway on Highway 58 from Naha Port to Kadena Circle, as well as Road 330 and 329, except within 30 meters, 100 feet of making a right turn. Figure 5, Marines getting on the green line, shows a picture of a Marine getting onto this bus marked the green line. 2. Common rules of the road. A. Seatbelts shall be worn on or off base by all personnel when a motor vehicle is in operation. Japanese, this is page 7, Japanese traffic regulations overview continued. B. Vehicles will not enter any area of the roadway marked or blocked to impede motorized vehicle traffic. C. Vehicles must come to a complete stop at all stop lines, at pedestrian crosswalks when occupied, or at uncontrolled intersections where stopping is required by law. Figure 6, Okinawa Expressway, exit number 6, a picture showing that exit. D. When 30 or more adjoining lanes in the same direction of travel occur, the far right lane is considered the passing lane. E. No vehicle may change its direction of travel without sufficiently signaling the intention to do so, regardless of whether a turning lane is provided or not. 3. Common traffic rules for motor vehicles on national expressways and exclusive roadways. A. Motor vehicles entering the primary lane of travel on an expressway must use the speed acceleration lane to enter. B. Motor vehicles intending to exit an expressway must travel in the lane nearest the exit and use the speed deceleration lane if provided. C. Motor vehicles attempting to merge into a primary lane of travel must not obstruct the passage of vehicles already traveling in the primary lane of travel. D. It is the vehicle's operator's responsibility to ensure a vehicle is mechanically sound, properly serviced, and cargo secured prior to traveling on an expressway or vehicle-exclusive roadway. Violation of this requirement, either through negligent breakdown or cargo loss, may result in monetary fines and/or penal action, confinement. E. Should the need arise to stop a vehicle due to a malfunction or breakdown, the vehicle must be moved completely off the expressway and warning devices, flares, safety triangles, posted to clearly indicate the vehicle is stopped for emergency or maintenance reasons. F. Vehicles stopped on expressways at night are required to display parking lights and/or emergency flashers and road flares as needed. It is recommended that emergency flashers must be used anytime a vehicle is stopped along a roadway for any purpose. 4. Speed limits. A. Speed limit signs are depicted in kilometers per hour rather than miles per hour. For example, figure 7 means 50 kilometers per hour, not 50 miles per hour. The speedometers, similar to figure 8 on all Japanese, European, and US modeled vehicles manufactured in Japan, depict kilometers per hour. Page 8, Japanese Traffic Regulations Overview continued. B. Posted speed limits are significantly lower than most European and US drivers are accustomed to. The congested, narrow roadways throughout Japan dictate that reduced speed limits must be observed to ensure public safety. C. Other than expressways, the maximum speed limit for motor vehicles operating off U.S. installations is as follows, unless reduced speed limits are otherwise posted. Figure 7 shows a speed limit sign with the 50 marked there. Note that means 50 kilometers per hour, not 50 miles per hour. 1. The maximum speed is 60 kilometers per hour for all trucks less than 5 tons and all passenger vehicles, including buses and motorcycles, with 25cc engine displacement and higher. 2. The maximum speed is 50 kilometers per hour for all trucks over 5 tons, all special vehicles, cement trucks, wreckers, and motorcycles or scooters under 251cc. 3. The maximum speed is 30 kilometers per hour for any two-wheeled vehicle under 50cc displacement. Figure 8 shows a picture and the speedometer in kilometers per hour. D. When traveling on expressways and exclusive use roadways, vehicles will not operate lower than posted minimum speed limit than the posted. All right, one more time. Use roadway vehicles will not operate lower than the posted minimum speed limit unless it is unsafe to do so to hazardous weather and or road conditions. E. When following another vehicle, Japanese law requires drivers to maintain adequate separation distance to prevent colliding with the vehicle being followed in the event the vehicle makes an abrupt stop. The same is true when initiating a stop or turn. Drivers should avoid making sudden stops or last-minute turns. A general rule is to apply the 3 to 4 second rule when driving conditions permit. To calculate the 3 to 4 second rule, pick a stationary object along the traveled roadway. Once the vehicle in front of you crosses that point, start counting. You should reach the same object by the time you say 3 or 4. Note that highly congested urban areas will be difficult to apply this rule, so drivers must remain consistently vigilant when driving in these types of conditions. Overtaking and passing. 5. Passing means going around a slower vehicle to the right on a two-way roadway. Overtaking refers to one vehicle moving past a slower vehicle on a one-way or multi-lane roadway. A. Overtaking and passing violations account for a high percentage of motor vehicle mishaps in Japan due to the limited availability of dedicated passing lanes on typical roadways. Extreme caution must be used anytime an attempt is made to overtake or pass a slower vehicle. B. Vehicles attempting to pass another vehicle must typically pass to the right of the vehicle being overtaken. Certain conditions permit passing on the left, multi-lane roadways for example, or when a vehicle in front of you is stopped or slowing its speed to make a right turn. Additional passing restrictions include 1. Passing a vehicle if the vehicle indicates or appears to be in the process of passing another vehicle, dual passing. 2. Not passing if the vehicle ahead is proceeding parallel with or at the same speed as another vehicle, side by side. 3. Drivers shall not zigzag, cut into lanes of traffic that are proceeding slowly when the traffic has stopped. The restriction not only applies to intersections, but any location along the roadway where traffic is proceeding at a slow pace. 4. Passing is prohibited within 30 meters of a crosswalk or intersection, on blind curves, near the top of upgrades, or on steep downgrades, inside tunnels unless multi-lane roadway, and in designated no passing zones as marked by a posted traffic sign. 6. Parking and stopping. A. No parking zones and or no stopping zones are designated by posted traffic signs as depicted in Appendix C. Figure 9 depicts a safety zone designation. These can be found in the front of fire departments or police stations. B. Drivers are not permitted to stop or park at posted areas along the roadways except under the following circumstances. 1. When executing a temporary stop to clear the lane of travel for an emergency vehicle as directed by a uniformed police officer or to avert danger. Figure 9 shows this ridiculous picture of some lines in a squarey box shape and a safety zone designation. You'll most likely never encounter this, so you really don't have to worry about it beyond this silly picture. 2. Within 5 meters or less of a fire station, a fire hydrant, or a fire station's fire truck entrance exit road. 3. Within 1 meter or less of a fire alarm. 4. Temporary stops at designated intersections or crosswalks as required by law. C. When parking meters are installed, drivers are required to activate the meter unless otherwise posted. If time limits are exceeded, vehicles may be towed. If time limits are exceeded, vehicles may be towed. Recovering a vehicle after it has been towed can be costly and time-consuming. Be careful. D. Parking a vehicle in any of the following locations is considered a violation of Japanese law unless permission is granted beforehand by a local police box having jurisdiction over the proposed parking location. 1. Within 3 meters or less of a motor vehicle entrance or exit that provides access to a main roadway. Example, McDonald's entry exit on Highway 58. 2. Within 1 meter or less of a fire alarm. 3. Within 5 meters or less of a roadway construction project. 4. Many roadways with U.S. Forces installations are designated as fire lanes. Be aware of painted curbs, red and yellow, as these designate either no parking or fire lanes. 5. Parking on grass or bare terrain on U.S. installations is prohibited unless where otherwise posted. America. E. E. No vehicle will park in a location where there is less than 0.5 meters of a clear space between the vehicle and the roadway. This does not apply for temporary stops to load or unload cargo or people when the driver leaves the vehicle temporarily or to provide emergency response to a sick or injured person. Abrupt vehicle stops. F. Abrupt vehicle stops are to be avoided unless required to avoid an accident. G. When a vehicle is stopped to load or discharge people or cargo, it must be stopped as close as possible to the left edge of the roadway and in such a manner that the vehicle does not impede traffic. H. On a one-way street, and if so designated by a posted traffic sign, vehicles may be parked along the right side of the roadway. Designated parking spots may have police-imposed time limits to prevent continuous parking. Vehicle operators need to verify time limits if parking for an extended period of time. J. A police officer may order a vehicle to be moved or parked in a different manner so as not to obstruct the flow of traffic. When the vehicle operator is not available, police may have the vehicle moved up to 50 meters where it was originally parked to help prevent a hazardous condition. If moving the vehicle 50 meters does not solve the problem, the vehicle may be impounded. The vehicle operator assumes all costs associated with moving or impounding entering the vehicle. 7. Roadway intersections. A vehicle right-of-way at uncontrolled intersections is observed as follows. Vehicles traveling on a priority roadway have the right-of-way. 2. A vehicle approaching an intersection from left has the right-of-way over a vehicle approaching the intersection from the right. B. Any roadway with a center line or traffic line that crosses through an intersection is considered the priority road, and vehicles traveling on this road have the right-of-way. C. Drivers entering or traveling through an intersection are required to pay attention to other vehicles in the intersection as well as pedestrians that may be in crosswalks in close proximity to the intersection. D. Vehicles shall not enter an intersection even if a traffic signal is green. If doing so will block cross traffic due to stalled rush hour traffic. E. Vehicles shall not enter crosswalks, railroad crossings, or any other portion of the road that may impede vehicle or pedestrian cross traffic due to stalled rush hour traffic. F. Left turns on a red traffic light after a complete stop is prohibited off military installations unless permitted by a traffic control device, green signal arrow, or a white sign with a blue arrow. 8. Vehicle signaling. When making a lane change or turning any direction, vehicle operators are required to use either the vehicle's turn signal or hand signal at least 30 meters prior to an intended turn or lane change. Drivers should ensure that vehicle signals are turned off after the lane change or turn has been made. 9. Use of a vehicle horn. It is not acceptable to sound a vehicle's horn unless where required by law or in an effort to avert a hazardous situation. By the by, number 10, headlight using during inclement weather. Japanese traffic law does not require the use of headlights during periods of reduced visibility due to inclement weather. However, headlight use is mandatory aboard all U.S. installations and highly encouraged during periods of reduced visibility when driving off an installation. 11. Vehicle maintenance requirements. Under Japanese traffic law, police officers have the right to stop a vehicle when the vehicle does not appear to be mechanically sound or safe to be on the road. Police officers may also conduct an on-the-spot vehicle inspection and provide the vehicle operator with an itemized maintenance list. Police officers may also affix a sticker to the front of the vehicle clearly visible to all, denoting that the vehicle is in need of maintenance. Your vehicle is out of line, sir. The sticker can only be removed by a police officer after all discrepancies to the vehicle have been repaired and certified. The SOFA licensed drivers should note that vehicles must be inspected every 2 years for a Japanese compensatory insurance JCI. Vehicles passing a JCI must display an up-to-date inspection sticker in the vehicle's windshield. Vehicles that do not pass the inspection or vehicles with expired inspection stickers are not allowed to be driven. Contact the Joint Vehicle Registration Office for further information. Chapter 1, finally, Driving Privileges. What page are we on? We're on page 12. 1. Implied consent. Any person subject to this privilege shall be deemed to have consented to evidentiary tests of their blood, breath and or urine to determine the blood alcohol or drug content, BAC. This consent applies when lawfully stopped, detained, apprehended, or cited for any driving offense committed while driving or in physical control of a motor vehicle in Japan, whether on or off a military installation. If a licensed driver is suspected of driving under the influence DUI of drugs or alcohol and refuses at any time to give a sample of their blood, breath, or urine, will be automatically considered as refusal. Any person deemed to deceased, unconscious, any person deemed to be deceased, unconscious, or otherwise in a condition rendering them incapable of refusal shall be deemed not to have withdrawn their consent, and such tests may be administered whether or not such person has been told that the failure to submit or complete the test will result in the revocation of their driving privileges. 2. Suspension and revocation of driving privileges. A. The MCB Traffic Court Magistrate will adjudicate? What? Adjudicate? What the hell? The MCB Traffic Court Magistrate will adjudicate all traffic cases and will suspend, revoke driving privileges as deemed appropriate. Isn't it adjudicate, not adjudicate? What? Privileges as deemed appropriate by traffic court requirements. Check minor 1, 2. B. Commanding officers may revoke a service member's driving privileges. 3. Restrictions on use and operation of motor vehicles. Authorized drivers will not rent, lend, or permit the use or operation of their POVs by persons other than those who possess a valid operator's permit, USFJ Form 4EJ, except for the temporary convenience of the owner or his or her family, such as when the vehicle is in any of the following conditions: 1. Undergoing maintenance or repair. 2. Being shipped into or out of Japan. Stored in a parking lot or garage, placed in temporary storage pending authorized disposition to a resident of Japan. 5. Undergoing inspection and processing at a GOJ Land and Transportation Office, LTO. 6. Being driven by a properly licensed or authorized individual while the owner-operator is incapable of driving, e.g., physically incapacitated, too tired, or consumed any amount of alcohol. B. Daiko Taxi Service. Daiko Taxi Service allows an SOFA member who is incapable of driving his or her vehicle, e.g., physically incapacitated, too tired, or consumed alcohol, to employ a commercial driving service to provide an additional driver for the purpose of returning an owner and POV to the owner's residence. 2. Insurance regulations require the SOFA member to ride in the Daiko taxi, not the SOFA member's own vehicle, as a passenger, while a Daiko license operator drives the SOFA member's vehicle behind the taxi to the owner's final destination. 3. The Daiko license operators providing this service shall operate motor vehicles in accordance with the established provisions for motor vehicle operation aboard Marine Corps installations, as well as all applicable Japanese traffic laws. C. Personnel will not operate a rented or borrowed motor vehicle, including any Japanese-owned motor vehicle, unless the following requirements are met. 1. Operators have a valid USFJ Form 4EJ for the type of motor vehicle operated. 2. If the owner is unavailable, e.g. deployed, TAD, leave, etc., operators have the owner's written permission in their immediate possession while operating the motor vehicle. 3. The vehicle is covered with appropriate insurance. D. All personnel operating a motor vehicle in Japan must produce upon request from military or Japanese law enforcement officials the following. 1. Proof of vehicle ownership or registration as required by the issuing authority. 2. A valid USFJ Form 4EJ. Operator's permit supported by an official DOD identification card or passport with SOFA stamp. And 3. Proof of Japanese compulsory insurance, JCI, and property damage liability insurance, PDI. Note: per HQ USFJ INST 31-205, Chapter 2, Figure 1, SOFA status. Permanent party members are not authorized to operate SOFA plated vehicle with an international driver's permit, IDP. E. Driving without a driver's permit. 1. Driving without a valid driver's license, aiding and abetting another to drive without a valid driver's license, improper acquisition of a driver's license, and knowingly loaning a vehicle to someone who does not possess a valid driver's license can result with a fine and or punishment of up to 3 years confinement and no more than 500,000 yen. 2. Anyone who gets in a vehicle while knowing the driver does not possess a valid driver's license can receive a fine and punishment of 500,000 yen or up to 3 years confinement. Chapter 2, Accident Reporting, page 14. Picture of an accident. People looking like they're in trouble. Figure 12, typical car accident in Japan. 1. Accidents and accident reporting policy. Persons involved in a motor vehicle accident shall immediately report the occurrence to the nearest military law enforcement agency, if off base to the Japanese police by the most expeditious means? Expeditious? By the most expeditious means. Basically, the fastest way possible. 8. Whenever the driver of a vehicle fails or is physically incapable of reporting an accident and another occupant in the vehicle at the time... Alright, this is going to bother me. Expeditious? I'm sorry, I just have to... Oh, sorry, you can't select that text. Fuck you.
Expeditious.
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 Great. You must inform the Japanese police by the most expeditious means. A. Whenever the driver of a vehicle fails or is physically incapable of reporting an accident and another occupant in the vehicle at the time of the accident is capable of doing so, the occupant shall report the accident. B. The driver of any vehicle involved in an accident resulting in an injury to or the death of any person or property damage shall immediately stop their vehicle at the scene of such accident or as close thereto as possible and remain at the scene of the accident until military police arrive. C. The driver of any vehicle involved in an accident shall give his or her name, address, vehicle registration number, name of insurance, insurance policy, insurance expiration date, and upon request show his or her operator's permit to any person injured in such accident or to the driver, occupant, or person attending any vehicle or other property damage in such accident. The same information shall be provided to any law enforcement personnel at the scene of the accident or later investigating the accident. D. Duty of witness to remain at accident scene. 1. Witness to an accident shall not depart the scene of a traffic accident until their identity has been furnished to the law enforcement personnel. 2. Witness to an accident shall... this reminds me of my hit and run. 2. Witnesses to an accident shall give any assistance needed when requested by law enforcement personnel. E. For all off-base accidents, military police will respond to the scene upon notification. In such accidents, military police will assist Japanese police and the parties involved in exchanging information and instruct SOFA personnel to report the accident to their insurance company. F. The owner-operator of every vehicle involved in a traffic accident shall report the circumstances of surrounding their accident to their respective insurance company that issued a police on the involved vehicle. G. The report shall be made within 72 hours unless the owner and or driver are hospitalized or otherwise incapable of doing so. Page 13, Chapter 13, Rules of the Road. Finally, oh my god. And it goes on with alcohol. This is a rule of the road. Give me a break. Okay, 1. Alcohol standards. Driving under the influence of driving while intoxicated. 1. No persons may operate or be in physical control of any motor vehicle while under the influence of intoxicants, including beverages, drugs, or any combination. A. If a person's BAC is determined to be a level of 0.03 to 0.079% by weight of alcohol in the person's blood, the person shall be considered as DUI. B. If a person's BAC is determined to be 0.08% or more by weight of alcohol in the person's blood, or if tests reflect the presence of illegal drugs, the person shall be determined to be driving while intoxicated, DWI. 2. When a person submits to a blood test at the request of law enforcement personnel under the provisions of implied consent, only a physician, nurse, or other qualified person may withdraw blood for the purpose of determining the alcohol or drug content therein. This limitation shall not apply to collecting breath or urine specimens. 3. When a person submits to a chemical test, figure 13, or test at the request, I disagree with that, by the way. A lawyer would totally disagree that police are not qualified legally therein to, this is a legal issue here. This is a big legal flaw. A lawyer would question this. This is not a law, actually. This is just information. They're trying to convey information, and basically, it is not a law, and they are not qualified to extract urine from you or take a breath test. That would have to be done by a doctor in a hospital room. 3. Alright, number 2, back to number 2. This limitation shall not apply to collecting breath or urine specimens. 3. When a person submits to a chemical test, figure 13, or test at the request of law enforcement personnel, full information concerning the test or tests shall be made available to that person and their commander or immediate supervisor. 4. If a person refuses to submit a chemical test, evidence of refusal shall be admissible in any prosecution or proceeding arising out of acts alleged to have been committed while the person was driving, operating, or in physical control of a motor vehicle. There's 2 pictures in place. Figure 13, U.S. standard breathalyzer. There's a picture of a guy holding a breathalyzer and a Marine guy blowing into the digital breathalyzer device. Picture 14, there's a picture of a Japanese guy blowing into a bag. Japanese standard breathalyzer, Kitagawa balloon test. Oh, wow. That's pretty smart. B. Japanese standard 1. Japanese police determine the degree of intoxication by use of the Kitagawa balloon test. See Figure 14, which measures milligrams of alcohol per liter of expired breath. When a reading of 0.15 milligrams per liter, the equivalent of 0.03% BAC of expired breath, is obtained, it shall be presumed for the purposes of prosecution in Japanese courts that the person was under the influence of alcohol. C. Open containers of alcohol beverages. Operators and passengers of motor vehicles are prohibited from having any open containers of alcohol beverages in their possession. 2. General provisions and restrictions. A. Obedience to the police officers and other authorities. All persons shall comply with any lawful order or direction of any police officer, fireman, or uniformed adult school crossing guard to direct, control, or regulate traffic. B. Drivers to exercise due care. Every driver shall exercise due care to avoid colliding with any pedestrian or any person operating a vehicle. Drivers shall give an audible signal when necessary and shall exercise proper precautions upon observing any child pedestrian or any obviously confused, incapacitated, or intoxicated person. C. Unattended motor vehicle. No person driving or in charge of a motor vehicle shall permit it to remain unattended without first stopping the engine, locking the ignition, removing the key from the ignition, effectively setting the brake, and when upon any grade, turning the front wheels to the curb or side of the highway. D. Unattended children. Children 9 years of age or younger will not be left unattended in a vehicle at any time. E. Limitations on reverse direction. The driver of a vehicle shall not 1. Drive in reverse direction unless such movement can be made safely and without interfering with other traffic. 2. Drive in reverse direction upon any shoulder or roadway of any controlled access highway. F. Operation of vehicles upon approach of an emergency vehicle. Upon the approach of an emergency vehicle, making use of audible and or visual signals, vehicle drivers shall yield the right of way. Drive parallel to and as close as possible to the closest edge or curb of the roadway and immediately stop unless doing so would be unsafe. Drivers shall stop clear of any intersection and remain in such position until the emergency vehicle has passed, except when otherwise directed by the law enforcement personnel. G. Following emergency vehicles prohibited. No vehicle driver shall follow any emergency vehicle making use of audible and or visual signals closer than 500 feet, 152 meters, or park within 500 feet, 152 meters, of where an emergency vehicle has stopped to answer a call. H. Following too closely. The driver of a motor vehicle shall not follow another vehicle more closely than is reasonable, having due regard for the speed of such vehicles, traffic congestion, and condition of the highway. 3. Lane usage. of one-way roadways and rotary traffic islands. Upon a roadway designated for one-way traffic by an official traffic control device, 1. A vehicle shall be driven only in the designated direction. 2. When no road markings exist to indicate a separation of 2 or more lanes of travel, then only 1 lane shall be presumed to exist and passing is prohibited. 3. Drivers shall obey the directions of official traffic control devices installed to prohibit the changing of lanes or sections of roadway. B. Driving on divided highways. When a highway is divided into 2 or more roadways by intervening space, physical barrier, or indicated section constructed to impede vehicular traffic, vehicles shall be driven only upon the left-hand roadway unless directed or permitted to use another roadway by traffic control devices or law enforcement personnel. 4. Motorcycles. A. Operating motorcycles on roadways. 1. All motorcycles are entitled to full use of lane. 2. The operator of a motorcycle shall not overtake and pass in any lane currently occupied by another vehicle. Driving on the shoulder of the roadway in order to overtake a vehicle is prohibited this specifically prohibits white lining. 3. No person shall operate a motorcycle between... Okay, figure 15 shows a parked motorcycle. There are 2 motorcycles parked at a slanting lean position in a full parking lane. 3. No person shall operate a motorcycle between lanes of traffic or between adjacent lines or rows of vehicles. 4. Motorcycles shall not be operated more than 1 abreast in a single lane. Abreast means side by side. B. Equipment for motorcycle riders and passengers. All SOFA personnel operating or riding a motorcycle on or off base shall wear the appropriate PPE consisting of 1. A properly fastened under the chin protective helmet, DOT or SNELL approved. 2. Impact or shadow resistant goggles or full face shield attached to the helmet, a windshield, eyeglass, sunglasses, or fairing alone is not considered to be proper eye protection. Devices used at night will not be tinted. 3. Clothing must cover the upper torso and legs. Shirts and shorts are prohibited. 4. Leather boots that cover the ankle, sneakers, tennis shoes, or other athletic type footwear are prohibited. 5. Full finger gloves. 6. Reflective vests must be worn when operating a motorcycle aboard White Beach, Camp Shields, and Torrey Station. 5. Pedestrians. A. The driver of a vehicle shall yield the right of way to any pedestrian utilizing a crosswalk. B. No pedestrian shall suddenly leave a curb or other place of safety and walk or run into the path of a vehicle which is so close as to constitute an immediate hazard. C. No vehicle shall overtake or pass any other vehicle stopped at a marked crosswalk or at any other location to permit a pedestrian to cross the roadway. 6. Cell phones, headphones, or other listening devices. A. Operating a vehicle and using a cell phone is strictly prohibited unless with a hands-free device. 1. Placing a cell phone on speaker does not necessitate the use of hands-free device. What? Placing a cell phone on speaker does not necessitate the use of a hands-free device. What? What are they talking about? 2. When the need to use a cell phone arises, the vehicle operator must completely pull over to the left side of the roadway and park the vehicle. It is preferred to park the vehicle in a parking area. But in the event of emergency, a vehicle may park as close to the left curbside as possible and not coming into or out of a curve. Hazard flashing lights must be administered as well. B. Wearing portable headphones, earphones, or other listening devices while operating a vehicle is strictly prohibited. 7. Illegal parking sticker. An illegal parking sticker may be affixed to an illegally parked vehicle. The user of the illegally parked vehicle who has received the parking sticker may be ordered to pay a fine for a parking violation by the Public Safety Commission. B. Do not damage, tear, or remove this retarded sticker. Or remove the affixed illegal parking sticker until the fine has been paid. The vehicle operator must immediately go to the nearest police station to pay. Any delay in paying the fine may cause additional fines to be assessed or driving privileges suspended. 8 driver's marks. Driver's marks. I'm an elderly driver. I'm a new driver. Okay, to the right, we're on page 20. We're almost done. More than halfway down, I think, from this tedious manual. Oh my god, we're 15 minutes in. Okay, figure 16, we have illegal parking sticker. It's yellow, and there's a line, circle with a line through it. There with Japanese writing. Obviously, you're not supposed to remove it until you go pay it from the police officer's fine. So you can probably just remove it, and then right when you pull up to the police officer's box, you can just stick it back on your window. 8. Driver's marks. The following symbols must be affixed to a vehicle as deemed by licensing authority. Okay, there are 4 stickers. One is for new driver, one is for elderly driver, one is for hearing impaired, one is for handicapped. New driver. This symbol identifies a driver as a new driver having 1 year or less of driving experience. Elderly driver. These symbols identify the driver as being over the age of 70 years of age. Hearing impaired. This symbol identifies the driver as being hearing impaired. This driver must install an oversized rear view mirror to reduce the size of bling spots. Bling spots? The hell is bling spot? Handicapped. Old symbol, new symbol. Handicapped driver, passenger. Old one looks like a guy in a wheelchair. New one looks like a 4-leaf clover with hearts for the leaves. And the hearing impaired one looks like a butterfly. And the elderly one looks like a teardrop. And or the Microsoft symbol with orange, green, light green, and yellow. And the new driver one looks like kind of like a military sign with yellow and green. 9. Seatbelt and child restraint systems. A. Seatbelts are mandatory for all personnel inside a vehicle when the vehicle is operational on and off base. B. Child seats are mandatory for all children under the age of 6 years of age according to the Japanese traffic law. When operating a vehicle on base, children 4 years of age or younger or under 45 pounds of weight must be affixed to a child's seat. Page 21, Appendix A. Oh, finally, that's it? Oh, wow. It's all just road signs from here. That's it? That's all the road laws? That's all I had to say? Wow. That was like very, like, to the point. Alright. Well, here we go with the road signs. That's it? Wow. Okay. Here we go. I think there's 26 pages. Page 21, Appendix A, Japanese traffic signs and road markings. I'm not going to bother describing them because I have to check the video. A lot of these are circles. Alright. One side says Tomore and says stop in the shape of a triangle. Another one in the shape of a triangle probably says the word for slow, which is yukuri, or probably yukuri, I think. And probably not that, actually. The kanjis, and then it says slow. We have the circle with 2 red X's close to vehicles and pedestrians. We have a circle with a line through it, red, close to all vehicles. We have a circle with a white line through it, do not enter. We have a circle with a red line through it with a car and a motorcycle close to vehicles and motorcycles. Circle with a red line through it. Road close to large trucks, size trucks, and special duty vehicles. The picture shows a blue large truck. Circle with a red line through it shows a blue car. Road close to all vehicles except 2-wheeled vehicles. What? Close to all vehicles except 2-wheeled vehicles. Okay. So basically only motorcycles and bicycles can go through. Okay. Next one shows a red circle with a red line through it, and it looks like a rickshaw. Closed to light vehicles except bicycles. Okay, next one shows a red circle with a red line through it and a picture of a blue bus. Closed to large passenger vehicles. Next one is a red circle with a red line through it, and it has a blue arrow. No right turn. Red circle with a red line through it, and it has 2 arrows. One's got a bending curve showing that they're passing lane. It says no passing. Red circle with a red line through it, and we've got a guy doing a U-turn arrow with it says no U-turn. Red circle with a red line through it, blue arrow going up and to the right. It says no 2-step turns, turn normally. Red circle with a red line through it with a motorcycle, blue, closed to 2-wheeled vehicles. Red circle with a red line through it, kanjis, Abinai, and this one, and a mono. Closed to vehicles with hazardous cargo. Okay. Red circle with a red line through it, a picture of a big blue truck. And then below it we have a white square rectangle sign with a black large truck with kanji, and it says 3T. Closed to trucks over 3 tons. Red circle with a red line through it, picture of a blue bicycle, closed to bicycles. Red square with a red line through it, showing a guy in dark blue crossing the street. No pedestrian crossing. Red square with a red line through it, and a dark blue gentleman walking close to pedestrians. Parking signs. Red circle with a red line through it with a dark blue background. No parking at any time, may stop for up to 5 minutes for loading and is unloading provided a driver is present at all times. Red circle with 2 red lines through it, a red X basically, and a dark blue background. No parking or stopping anytime. Speed limit signs. Red circle with a dark blue writing and a white background. We have 30 with an underline under it, minimum speed. Red circle, white background, dark blue writing with the numbers 50, and that's the maximum speed. Size and weight limit signs. Red circle, dark blue handwriting, 2.2 m is written on the sign, maximum width in meters. Red circle, dark blue handwriting, the numbers 5.5 t, maximum weight in tons. Red circle with 2 arrows at the top, and one at the top, one at the bottom, and in the middle, dark blue handwriting says 3.3 m, maximum height in meters. Appendix A, these are all blue and white colored signs. Appendix A, Japanese traffic signs and road markings. There's not much description here. Parking permitted signs. One is a circle with a P and 60 boon. Okay, 60 minutes. Next one is a square with a P. Next one is an arrow with a P and 60 minutes. Next one is a kanji I don't know. Restricted pathways and roadways. We got 2 people holding hands, says pedestrians only. 2 people holding hands with a bicycle, pedestrians and bicycles only. Picture of a bicycle, round sign, bicycles only. Round sign with a car, motor vehicles only. Common roadway signs, square and a check, safety zone. Square and an arrow with kanji Chu-O-sen, designated center line. Primary line, arrow going up with a line through it. A bus in the middle of 2 solid white lines, bus exclusive lane. A bus in the middle of 2 dotted lines, bus preferred lane. Those are both square. Round, arrow up, arrow right, with kanji, 2-step turn, required for mopeds. Direction indicators. No description is available here, written here, but I'll do my best. Circle sign with an arrow going up and an arrow going left, and then we have a square sign below it. Okay, I'm just gonna skip these ones. Common crosswalk signs. Triangle with 2 children, school crosswalk. Common crosswalk signs, triangle with a bicycle crossing. Common crosswalk signs, pedestrian crosswalk. Pedestrians, bicycle crosswalk. Miscellaneous and roadway signs. There's a picture of what looks like lightning coming from a sideways mushroom. and it's a circle round sign. It says sound horn. Next we have a blue background, white arrow pointing left. It says one way. Next we have a triangle sign, white background, dark blue arrow pointing left. Left turn permitted on red. That'll be on the test. Those two will be on the test. Stop before a line, and there's a picture of a square sign with white line at the top, the kanji below this one, and then stop and then send. So stopping here. Next one is a square. Picture of a tire in a red box showing they're going to put a boot on your tire, basically, if you stop there. And it says tire boot zone. Next one is a rectangle. And this picture kind of a map, and you're kind of making a left turn, going straight, making a right turn, and then making a left. And there's no, in the middle of that, there's a big red circle with a line through it saying you cannot drive through that street. The sign is marked as detour. Appendix A. These are all yellow and black signs. Page 23. Japanese traffic signs and road markings. First one shows a curve to the right, curve ahead. Next one shows a zigzag. You're going straight, right, left, means double curve ahead. Next one, we've got kind of a softly bended zigzag here, going straight. It says curve ahead. Next one, we got a, looks like a right turn. It goes up and then right. It says sharp curve ahead. Next one, we got a wiggly zigzag here. It says windy road curve. Next one is a Y shape. It says Y intersection ahead. Next one, we have a plus shape. It says four-way intersection ahead. Next one, we have a T shaping, a T pointing to the right. It says T intersection ahead. Next one, we have a T pointing down, the normal way you would see a capital T. It says T intersection ahead. Next, we have what looks like an upside down Y, basically. It says merge. Next, we have a two-way traffic. One arrow up, one arrow down. Two-way traffic. Next, we have two curved in lines. It says roadway narrows. Next, we have a straight line on the right, a curved in line on the left with dotted lines in the middle. It says number of lanes reduced. Next one, we have blue, yellow, red, traffic signal. When is the light blue? Seriously, the light's green. But in the sign, it says blue, yellow, red, and then it says traffic signal ahead. That's weird because it goes, oh, is the light owl? Owl? No, it's green. Green is Midori. It's green. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not blue. Okay? And I know they've made it blue sometimes. But either change them all or don't change any of them. I mean, seriously, what is this owl green blue signal light thing? It's not blue, it's green. Next line is caution. And you have a picture of a exclamation point, basically, and the sign says caution. Next one, we have a picture of a windsock. All these signs, by the way, are on a kind of a diamond shape. So on a diamond shaped sign, yellow sign, you have a picture of a windsock. This means prevailing side wind. Okay, the next two signs are grade signs. The first one, you have a triangle with the acute angle pointing to the right. The arrow is going from the top down, and it says 10%. This means downgrade or decline. Okay, next you have the opposite. This is upgrade or incline. Arrow pointing from the down, from the bottom going to the up. This is 10%. This is an upgrade or incline. So you have downgrade or decline, you have upgrade or incline. Next one, diamond shape. Car look like it's swerving off the road. It says slippery road. Next one, we have looks like a teacher and a student. It says school zone. Next one, got a guy digging. It says road construction. Next one, you got a circle of arrows like the recycle symbol. It says rotary. Next one, looks like rocks are falling down. It says fallen rock zone. Next one, you got looks like 2 anthills, bumps or bumpy road. Next one, you got a picture of a deer. It says like John Deere. It says Animal Crossing Okinawa equals boar. Whatever the hell that means. Appendix A, Japanese traffic signs and road markings. Okay, Japanese traffic signs and road markings. Auxiliary signs. Red arrows apply to the sign above it. Okay, now this is really confusing. How much more of this crap is left? Okay, quite a bit. Well, gotta keep going. Keep steady pace here. Get it done. Okay, congratulations if you've made it this far. Appendix A. Japanese traffic signs and road markings, auxiliary signs, red arrows apply to the sign above it. Okay, first bracket, we got an arrow, a red arrow pointing to the right. It says start of a control. Then you see a red circle with a red line through it and a dark blue background. Beneath it you have another red arrow pointing to the right. It says start of no parking from 0800 to 2000 hours. Basically 8 to 8. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Next bracket, you have a red arrow pointing to the left. It says end of a control. Beneath it, you have a red circle with a red line through it and a dark blue background. Beneath that, you have a red arrow pointing to the left. It says end of no parking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Next bracket, you have a double-sided arrow, red arrow, with a white background. It says within a control. Below that you have a red circle with a red line through it and a dark blue background. Beneath it you have the same red arrow, double-sided arrow. It says within the no parking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is in military hours, 0800 to 2000 hours. 0200 hours? I don't know how you say that. Alright, next one. Next bracket. You have a circle with a white background and a dark blue line through it. It says end of a control. Applies to the sign below it. Beneath that you have the same picture, and beneath that you have a red circle with a red line through it and a dark blue background. It says end of no parking from 0800 to 8 p.m. 8 to 20 hours required. This is the next bracket. I don't know what 8 to 20 means. That means 8 to 8, I think. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Next, beneath that we have... Sorry, I didn't describe the sign. It says 8 to 20. You have a picture of a rectangular sign with the numbers 8-20. As I said, it says hours required. As I said, I think that means 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Whatever. Obviously in a control zone. Beneath that you have a red bordered circle with a red line through it. In the middle of that you have a blue arrow showing a U-turn, obviously meaning no U-turns. Beneath that the same 8-20 sign thing. The description says no U-turns from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Street markings. Yellow dash stripes painted on the curb means no parking is allowed. You have the standard Japanese no parking sign, which is a red circle and a red line through it with a dark blue background, and beneath that it says no parking. We now have a picture of kind of a sidewalk zone or a grid zone, and on the right I can see kind of a curb here with yellow dashed lines. The description says yellow dashed stripes. The picture to the right, it says and above that, sorry, it says yellow dash stripes painted on the curb means no parking is allowed. Okay, that's clear. Next box, you have a description. The description says a solid yellow striped painted on the curb means no parking or stopping at any time. So one means that you can stop, but you can't park. The other means that you cannot stop and you cannot park. This one here, the solid yellow line picture. Above, we have a red bordered circle with a red X in the middle with a dark blue background. The description says no stopping or parking. You have a gridded street or sidewalk picture with a yellow stripe on the right side. The description says solid yellow stripe. One more time, it's solid yellow stripe painted on the curb means no parking or stopping at any time. Next bracket, you have some gray background rectangular signs with yellow and white writing. The first one, the description says end of 50 kilometers per hour zone. You have a white 0 on top with a yellow 50 below it. Next one, description says end of no U-turn. Okay, you have a white 0 above, and below you have a yellow U-turn arrow. A yellow U-turn arrow. The next bracket, the description says no U-turn from 0800 to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. On this rectangle shape, you have a yellow arrow in the U-turn position. Beneath it, you have an X and the numbers 8 to 20. Next one, you have a gray background, yellow writing with the numbers 3 and 0, 30. Maximum speed, 30 kilometers per hour. On Appendix A, Japanese traffic signs and road markings, we have a bunch of green signs this time. I think this means we're on an expressway or highway. Okay, this one, emergency parking. You have basically a green sign with a white road, and the picture on the and the white road has kind of a left bump, and it appears that on the left bump you may like pull over there and park. Next one, description, emergency telephone. You have a picture of a telephone with some Japanese writing saying denwa. Next one, description is destination and direction. You have just some standard white and blue writing signs describing where you're going. One sign says Nishiki-gaura. Next one says Tokyo Station 2 kilometers with an arrow pointing to the right. Next one says Hibiya Park 500 meters, arrow pointing to the right. Next one, you have some standard traffic signs that says designated lane for destination, and the picture is one has a square, is green with white writing, is shaped in a square, and it has Japanese kanji for Osaka, then written in ABCs it says Osaka, and then beneath that we have an arrow, a white arrow pointing down. Beneath this one we have another traffic one. It says through traffic in English, and then it has a white arrow pointing down. Next sign, it says destination and direction. The first sign is a rectangle. It says Tomei Expressway with a green arrow pointing with a white arrow pointing to the right. Beneath that it says Shuto Expressway, Airport Shinjuku, and a white arrow pointing to the right. Next one, it says parking area. We have a square sign with a blue background and white writing saying P. We have a rectangular green sign with a white P. Next sign, rest area, parking, fuel stand, etc. We have these are all green background with white writing. We have a P. The first sign has a P, a gas symbol, food symbol, and a monkey wrench symbol. Next one says 1 kilometer, and it says Fujigawa. Next one has a picture of P and a cup of coffee or tea. And the next one has 1 kilometers and Nagara. And in Japanese kanji and English. And the next one says expressway entrance. Next we have, it says Meishin Expressway, XP Way. And below that with a green background and white writing. It says Iriguchi in Japanese kanji, and it says 150 meters. Iriguchi means entrance, by the way. The kanji for to enter, and the kanji for mouth, basically. Okay. Next, it says destination and direction. The top one says Nihonbashi with the arrow pointing up. Next one to the left, it says Kamiuma. To the right, it says Omori, and at the bottom, it says 300 meters. Destination and direction. These are all pretty standard signs. I wonder if I should just skip this. Alright, next one, we have a picture of a destination and distance sign showing the destination and then the distance, 10 kilometers. Next one, slower traffic, keep left. It says exactly that. Slower traffic with an arrow curving off to the left. Next one, national route marker, has a pink background and highway signs. National route, in this case, says 142 and kind of a rounded corners triangle. Next one, it says expressway exit, and you see the kanji deguchi, which is the kanji for deru and mouth. Deguchi, exit, and it says beneath in the ABCs, this says exit. And for Yokohama, white arrow to the left. Okay, moving down, still on Appendix A. Here we have a diagram, but we're almost finished. We're right at the end. Here we have kind of a diagram of a typical Japanese street. We have I'm going to describe the street and all of its markings. Okay, there are many lanes on this street. The first two lanes are crossing streets, the crossing areas of the street. The first area is a bicycle crossing area of the street. It has the street is colored gray and the lines are colored white, and you have a picture of a bicycle on the street. This means bicycle crossing, and there is a blue triangle with a white writing with a picture of a bicycle. That means bicycle crossing. Below that, you have just white lines crossing the street, and then there's a sign, blue triangular sign with a picture of a white guy walking. It says pedestrian walking. Beneath that, you have a white solid line, and there's a square blue sign with a white line and some kanji, and it says stop line for the crosswalk. Okay, and that's kind of before the crosswalk. Okay, then you have these curve arrow lines on the street, and one of the arrows is kind of a double arrow, and they're both facing forward, and one is going straight forward, one's curving off to the left. To the right of that, you have an arrow that just in the next lane, adjacent to that, you have just a straight line through arrow, which this is basically telling us that we can make a left turn here, and if you're in the left lane, and in the right lane, you cannot make the turn. You have to basically just keep going straight. To the right of that, there is a solid yellow line. The solid yellow line is marked as the center line. And beneath that, and in between the two lanes, we have white dashed lines. Okay, so what they're telling us here is that you can change lanes between the white dashed lines, but the solid yellow line in the center separates the two opposite directions of traffic. So you don't want to cross that, obviously. Beneath that, we have the two white diamonds. Diamond marks indicate a crosswalk ahead. Okay, beneath this we have two pictures. One is a picture you'd see in front of a fire department. One is the picture you'd see if there's a multi-way crossway. You have a crosswalk in the middle of 4 corners. Basically, it looks like a big white X, and there are white solid lines all throughout it. It says multiple crosswalks. Intersections with a high volume of pedestrians traffic may look similar to this. Safety zone. The next one. Basically, you have a rectangular shape with it cut out, a rectangular cutout in the middle, and a white solid lines going diagonally through that box. It says safety zone. Safety zones are no stopping zones generally located in front of fire stations, hospitals, police stations, and emergency services facilities. And that's it. Installation Safety Office is written there. It says this handbook is a product of the Installation Safety Office, ISO. All questions or concerns regarding its content can be addressed to the director, ISO, at DSN 315-645-3806, Combat Camera Center, 141-007K-9280. And that concludes this traffic regulations guide. Thank you everybody for watching, and I just spent an hour and 20 minutes of my Sunday recording this ridiculous video so that I can listen to myself, so I can then listen to my own audio, just like walking around town, running errands, and just basically so that you can study just through audio. Just by listening, because listening requires less effort than reading, to be honest. So that's why I made this. I made this to help you guys out. I recommend that what you do is you just go to a YouTube conversion website that converts YouTube links to MP3 files, and just convert this video into an MP3 file, download that, and then stick that onto your iPhone through iTunes. And, you can just listen to this audio. Obviously it's going to take an hour. I'm going to try to release 2 or 3 different versions of this. One will be sped up, ×2. Maybe I'll do it ×4. That's probably going to be too fast because I am speaking really fast. And you can just take in all this audibly. So, alright, anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you appreciated this Japanese driver's audiobook. Alright, bye.